Okay, so I got a story for you, Dark Milo.
Uh, I am in my little box. My little box, and
Okay, a story about Jerry the Mule. There was once this mule my friend Fred had. He knew his story about the mule, and
so Jerry the Mule. Tell me about the story about Jerry and the Mule.
Jerry the Mule ran off to the hill, and he saw a little mailbox named Earl, and the little mailbox said to the mule, "There's a discount on milk at the big general store. Hey, hey!"
Wait a minute here. Wait a minute here. This compute. There's a talking mule.
Yeah, you're talking mule.
There's a talking mule. He talked to a mailbox. Was there some kind of AI involved with this? Was it an Elon Musk smart? Is it a smart Amazon mailbox? I mean, that is actually possible. I'm sure they have the mailboxes now talk, right?
Oh no, it wasn't. It was actually a real mailbox.
Uh, okay, so I understand. So there wasn't actually an Elon Musk style technology to the.
I really wasn't. But the milk dog, yeah.
So the mule could talk. What?
Back on the ship. Okay, well, Glenn Farfinger, as you can see, that's some psychology at work here. See that he's see being in a box for so many weeks makes you weird. Oh, crackies, it would make you weird, Mister Pennypacker. Well, yeah. So what you gotta do in his psychosis now he's out of the box is hit him with something so weird that it's actually making him think. Because you saw what he was. He was just singing songs to himself. I kind of wondered what he was doing in the box because sometimes I would hear like humming or something. So that was how he was coping in there. But you'd think, oh, I just let him out of the box. He should stop that. No, he's still in the box mentally. So now he's distracted by someone who's just totally off the wall crazy. Joe is content. He's content. And I'm convinced that he is, I would say he's the true host of the show. But Mr. Pennypacker, you know he doesn't. I know, he doesn't talk about video games. It's a Saturn Grad tradition. We pick our hosts and co hosts that don't have any idea about video games. They don't even know about what's come out the last 20 years. They don't even know about how great the great era of the 360 was. Wow, before Don Matrick and before Connectables and things like that. But there was still some good games during that time, though. But, before Ultimate Teams and, back when you could buy Madden and you didn't have to make an Origin account that a hacker in Russia or in South Africa is going to now steal. You know what I mean? 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 I guess I know what you mean. So, Morgan Wrestling? You know it. Yeah, we're kind of just spending some time here until Thanksgiving. There's really nothing planned storyline wise. I'm just trying to get him back going because if I had taken him right out of the box for Thanksgiving, that would have been a disaster. He would have been too men. He would have been an embarrassment, and I would have had to put him down. So, this is just more humane, and I think he's really entertained by Joe. Everybody is. There's no excuse to be not entertained by Joe. Whereas Spook Up Adams is just chaotic. He's crazier than Joe, but Joe is like a happy crazy. he doesn't hurt you. Pukapi doesn't know he hurts people. You know what I mean? It kind of what it reminds me of is, one of my favorites about the Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein, is he he's dangerous, but you can see he doesn't know it. He doesn't understand. You know what I mean? Like when he picks up the little girl, and it's because he saw her throw the flower in the water. So his brain says, now listen to this. So he thinks, well, if I pick her up and throw in the water, that's going to be fun. We're going to play a game. It's ha ha, And he doesn't realize, well, she can't swim and she drowns. Of course, it's kind of funny. I remember being autistic, I was be like, yeah, but that water doesn't look that deep. I think she would be generally all right. She could just kind of reach out to shore. It wasn't like he threw her out in the like freaking ocean or something, or middle of a lake. I think she would generally be all right. She wouldn't just immediately die. But it's a story. You gotta kind of go with it. But okay, you go do your wrestling now. Oh, well, Joe, we got WWE 2K22, and we got the Blue Blazer, Owen Hart, versus the Dynamite Kid. Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, this is going to be a very good match. This is one of those dream matches. These two, I'm sure, took on each other plenty of times in Canada, but in Stampede Wrestling, but as far as we know, we've never seen such footage, and sadly with WWF, of course, Owen wasn't, he was just a baby face when he came in, so he wouldn't have taken on Dynamite Kid. And unfortunately, the Bulldogs, because of the kind of reputation they developed, they pretty much, found themselves pretty much, leaving because of their attitude, and they got into that whole feud with the Rougeaus, and they mostly was because they were bullying them, and then Jacques Rougeau had enough and grabbed a pair of brass knuckles and knocked some teeth out of Dynamite Kid, and then. There was a huge scuffle there, and Diamond Kid and Davey, they kind of walked out, and of course, about a year or two, about maybe 2-3 years later, that's when British Bulldog came back, and of course, by that point, Dynamite's back was so shot, it really doesn't matter because that he left anyway. At least he left when he was at his peak, because the reality is Dynamite's back was getting worse and worse to the point he became disabled. I mean, so it wasn't going to get better for him in the long run. It's sad, but it's true. And reality is the amount of dream matches you could have had with him and Brad and Sean, and he could have been kind of a third element to the whole next generation of the WWE. You could have had him feud with Bulldog. You could have had him all over the place, really, and he was talented enough. But of course, you're not sure. You're not sure, because he's got the talent and he's got the charisma and all that. But would Vince see that though? Vince was a kind of a weird guy, like. Of course he saw it with Brett, so obviously he was pushing Brett fairly quickly, but, don't know. And Owen has just made a big mistake there. He was hoping to go to the top rope, and Bulldog and Dynamite just made a big mistake there too, and now he working on the arm. That's always the smart thing to do. That's the Anderson way to do things, is work on the arm, and the arm is started to turn all jello wello, it's done like a wet noodle, it's not going to be very effective. And a fist drop, good old Jerry Lawler style fist drop. I actually heard a commentator say, "Oh, who cares about Jerry Lawler?" I actually heard this guy playing like a wrestling video game, and 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 he was talking about Lawler. I was like, dude, are you dense or something? I mean, are you dense? Jerry the King Lawler is very influential in Memphis. I mean, and he was a ring general, and I don't even need to get in why that's stupid. And a very effective heel. He was probably one of the first to do the whole, at home he's the baby face, and then everywhere else he's a villain. And what you actually see with Brett, what he does later, that's essentially what Lawler does. Where Lawler at home is like this hometown hero that everyone likes, and then regardless of what he does, and so just saying. But okay, working on the arm again. That's the old Anderson style. That's actually smart. Sometimes I think though with this game, a big criticism I have. I feel like the referees are they could have worked on them a little more to make them a little more interactive. Um, like there's no special guest referee. That was a thing about No Mercy. Like you can actually be the referee in matches, and that was really wild. And you could be a crooked referee. You could fast count and stuff. And I don't know what happened with these games. They just said no, you're not going to do that, and you can't even have guest referees. I mean, guest referees used to be a big deal back in the Attitude Era, and like, isn't that weird? There's just weird features they just never put back in, or they never put in. I don't know. I seem to think there must have been like special guest referees in the SmackDown games, but maybe I'm wrong. Of course, I still get blown away that they removed the I Quit match because they didn't get rid of the last man standing. I'm glad because I love that because it's kind of almost like a Texas Death Match. But now, okay, now Owen and Dynamite are outside and the ring. I love, when there's a lot of in and out of the ring, and it's just, you know, Blue Blazers really, really kind of giving it to Dynamite here, and they threw him back in. And I will let you know, Owen is in AEW. I see Impact. I get confused. AEW Fight Forever. They even captured exactly how he looks, and you can even use him in the career mode. I think that's great. They call the Road to Impact or something. I think that's cool. Or I said Impact again. I think it means Road to Elite. I'm getting confused between TNA and AEW. Like, what the heck happened to TNA? Like, TNA just sort of like it just got rammed into nothing, man. Like it used to be like the other promotion, and now it's just sort of like nobody talks about that anymore. It just like it just. It's just it just got destroyed. I can even remember the woman who ran it, and that's how you could tell when a promotion is just sort of dead in the water when you can't remember much about it. Even the memories, even though people like, I think AJ Styles is about the best in Samoa Joe, or the best things that came out of that promotion. That's about it. And that's not even the focus of the promotion after a while. After a while, it was just ex WCW and ex WWE guys. And many people said it about that promotion was it's just that, Vince isn't going to take them seriously because they're essentially just the B show. They're who you send your talent to when you feel that they become stale, and they're like, yeah, you can go to Impact, and or Ring of Honor or whatever, and that's actually not good for the promotion because they think, well, we're getting like the big show and we're getting this and Jericho and all that, and don't get me wrong, Jericho being talented actually made AEW, but most of the time when you have like a Booker T or you have like Big Show or whatever, those are guys that have essentially kind of hit their peak, and wow, that's a good reversal there of the tombstone. And that's just kind of it. It's just like, it's smack, 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 and oh, and he busted him open. Of course, I'm not entirely sure how you know he busted him open. In one of the Aki games, Virtual Pro Wrestling, you can actually, if a guy has a mask and they have like a face ripping option, guys that don't have masks, that'll bust them open if you do that. But if they have a mask, you can actually rip the mask open. And of course, it instantly gives them like a special or something, because the aggression meter goes right for the roof. 2-0. No, just 2. Also, this game has a kind of a glitch in it where there's times I picked a referee and then it just picks another referee. So they're just, and you think, well, 2K20. No, these games they're going back to doing this where they're just coming out every year, and see, 2K22 was a little different because they realized that was a big mistake, but now they're going back to the mistake, and it's like they don't care. You gotta just stop buying it. Fortunately, 23. The only reason I got 23 was because of rope break. He was going for the sharpshooter, and he grabbed the ropes. I find also the rope detection, like the game, like being able to see that the guy's foot is in the ropes. Like, I'm not joking you. There has been tons of times where they should have stopped counting, that they should have seen a rope break, and it's like it doesn't see it. I've even seen one time where there was a rope break and the foot was even near the ropes. Like, it's so bad. Like why would you not try to like fix the general gameplay? It's the general gameplay. But it's because they made their money and they don't care. That's why I hope that Impact is so much like no. I'm not Impact. I'm sorry. At this rate, if this keeps going on, I'm going to have to go find that old TNA video game they made for 360 just to remember was that any good. And Owen Hart wins. That was a good match. That was pretty good. And for SummerSlam, I liked later when he became a heel and he blamed Brett. He said, "You made me the blue blazer. I didn't want to do that. That was a silly gimmick, but you didn't want me to affect you. Well, that's it, folks, and we'll see you next week."